Perceptual interpretation. To what extent do we learn to perceive? German philosopher Immanuel Kant said that knowledge comes from our inborn ways of organizing sensory experiences. John Locke disagreed and said that through our experiences we learn to perceive the world. So how does experience affect perceptual interpretation? Sensory deprivation and restored vision. If a man born blind and now adult was taught by his touch to distinguish between a cube and a sphere, could he, if made to see, visually distinguish the two? John Locke would say no, because he would never be able to see the difference. This has been tested by adults who were born blind and who gained sight later on in life. Most of these people are born with cataracts, or in other words, clouded lenses. This is what vision is like for someone with cataracts. After surgery, patients' visions became clear. The patients could now tell the difference between figure and ground and can sense color. Perceptual adaptation in vision is the ability to adjust to an artificially displaced or even inverted visual field. The goggles the man in the picture is wearing distort his vision. In order to catch the ball, he has to adapt to the goggles. After the man removes the goggles, he would experience an after effect. After taking off the goggles, he will have to readjust to catch the ball. Perceptual set is a mental predisposition to perceive one thing and not another. Perceptual set can also influence what people hear. A pilot may say, "cheer up," to his sad co-pilot, and since the co-pilot is sad, he could hear "gear up" instead of "cheer up." In the middle picture, people typically see either a woman or a musician. Through experience, we form schemas, otherwise known as concepts, that organize and interpret unfamiliar information. Our pre-existing schemas influence whether we see a woman's face or a musician. Using top-down processing, schemas for faces allow us to see facial patterns and random things.
Context can also play a major role in perception. A given stimulus may trigger radically different perceptions based on the immediate context given. Here's a short video to help you get a closer look at context perception.
Basic setup. There's what appears to be a green cylinder casting a shadow on a checkerboard. One square is labeled A, and another square is labeled B. The question is, which square is darker? Square A or square B?
You know how the game is played. This wouldn't be an illusion if squares A and B were actually different. While square A looks darker than square B, they're really both the same color. It's easier to see this if we remove the rest of the diagram.
Okay, but this could be a trick. How do you know we didn't change the color of the squares when we edited the graphic? Well, here's another way to do this. We made a transparency of the image and cut it in half. When we line everything up, square A still looks darker than square B. When we split the image apart, the pieces of square A still match each other, and the pieces of square B still match each other. Now, we can slide the piece of square B up to square A, and they match. We can do it the other way, too. We can take the piece of square A and bring it down to square B to see that they match as well. Square A and square B really are the same color.
The effects of perceptual set and context show how experience helps us construct perception. In everyday life, stereotypes about gender or ethnicity can color perception. Without the obvious cues of blue or pink, people will struggle over whether to call the new baby he or she. But told an infant is David, people, especially children, may perceive him as bigger and stronger than if the same infant is called Diana. Similarly, when you learn someone's ethnicity, you may automatically perceive him or her according to previous stereotypes, as is humorously depicted in this video.
Just gonna go to FIU. Aye, but don't be like stupid.
No, because like the thing is that.
The thing is that.
I mean, the thing is that
Like.
That's the thing. The thing is that.
Perceptions are influenced top down, not only by our expectations, but also by our emotions and motivations. For example, even a softball appears bigger when you're hitting well. Researchers discovered after asking players to choose a circle the size of the ball they had just hit well or poorly. Spouses who feel loved perceive less threat in stressful marital situations. Ever notice that when you're walking, you hate drivers, and when you're driving, you hate pedestrians? Anyone driving slower than you is an idiot, and anyone driving faster is a maniac. Back to the fundamental question, is perception innate or learned? Well, it's both. The river of perception is fed by sensation, cognition, and emotion, and that is why we need multiple levels of analysis. Biological influences, psychological influences, sociocultural influences all work together to create our version of reality. Therefore, perception is biopsychosocial.